Hello, hello, hello. Happy Saturday, actually technically Sunday for me a little bit by 14 minutes, but happy weekend, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Let's get rid of this music. Let's bring in this music. Hello. Jesus, late Ricky stream. Late. I told you I'd probably be streaming late today, Nid. It is indeed late. We are starting about the time that we usually stop. Hello, chat. Good to see you. Altair, welcome. First one here today. Hello. Followed by Manny. How you doing, Manny? I'm glad to see you around more. I was missing you. I'm sorry I have perpetuated horse jokes into the rest of your life. Honestly, I thought I was shooting myself in the foot that one Jump King stream I brought it up, but it seems to have really inspired the new friend group, the new circle of streamers that I've kind of joined into. Pio, Hanyo, Castrelia. They're all like, Manny's all about that horse life now. Floofers, let's fucking go, says Floofers. Hello, welcome. How you doing? Oh, Matreus! Welcome, welcome. Floofers also says, sorry for missing Thursday. I had to have a tooth pulled the first thing Friday, so I had to go to bed right when stream started. Yeah, no worries at all. The VOD's always there if you're curious what we did, and we'll always be happy to see you next time. Matreus, how you doing today? And Nid, of course, hello. I read your message first before I scrolled up. Neil banished me because I can't drink. I wasn't drinking either. Doc! Good to see you. How you doing? Welcome. Floofer says, oh, Eki, have you ever played Stray? No. I'm afraid to play Stray. I don't want to play Stray. I'm one of those people that, like... I'm one of those people that's really affected by, like, anything happening to animals, and it feels like Stray is... like, the formula... like, it was made to hurt you emotionally. Something's gonna happen to that cat at some point in the game. I don't know any Stray spoilers, but I'm afeared. Matreya says, I needed the break from PO. The standards are impossible. Yeah. For those who don't know, Peonia Stera right now is streaming. I'm risking sending my own chat away by doing this, but Peonia Stera is streaming right now with Von Locke. And at least at the time when I left, they were doing these role plays, dating role plays of do's and don'ts for first dates. And Vaughn was playing it silly at first, but Pio did give some information about her standards that sounded really... They were something. They were something special. I don't know if the VOD will be there afterward, but you're banished to the child realm, Nid. Doc says, doing good. Spent a while playing and beating Bloodborne, and so now I return. Did you enjoy it? Was that your first time through Bloodborne? Bloodborne might be my favorite Souls-like game. Souls game, I should say. It's not Souls-like when it's by the same creators, I'd say. You have to sit at the small table. Yep. Flipper says, I'm playing it if nothing happens to the cat or any other cat. I'll green light it for if you want. Yeah, maybe that'd be nice. Like a non-spoiler free green light. But I'm really sensitive to that stuff. I think it would kind of like upset me. Fourth time. Oh, okay. Fair. I understand that. Doc, the night that I finished Bloodborne for the first time, I felt like I ascended. And I think, I'm trying to remember, I think I did the DLC before I fought the last boss, but I felt like I ascended, and I went through and I played it 3 more times, I think, or 2 more, 3 more times? Yeah, 3 more times. I like beat it several more times that same night. The first one, of course, was the really, really long playthrough, but then when I beat it, I just like ran through it several more times than that other night, just to like get every single possible ending. I didn't think it was gonna happen in that night, but I ascended to some godhood level after having beat the boss, and was just able to fly through the game, speedrun style. That's the only time that's ever happened with the game, but I actually platinumed Bloodborne, and I never do that with any game. Because I'm not really that into achievements, but I love that game so much, I'm like, I'm gonna platinum this stuff. All the dungeon things and everything. Atreus says, what no one tells you is the Soul games are actually very short. They are, once you figure out everything. Although, honestly, Dark Souls 3 is still hard to do it as a short game. Not like really, really hard, but it's one of the ones I've found that's harder to speedrun, even though I've played it like 40 times. Partially because of the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. In fact, a lot of it is because of the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. Because you want to like try and get through the game really quickly by speedrunning to the point where the Dancer protects. You were gonna say Aldrich? Some people get really stuck on Aldrich. I haven't really been one of those people. I don't know why. But yeah, Aldrich hits really hard for most builds. Like, Aldrich is usually just not something people are ready to be powerful against. But I don't know. I don't have personally a hard time on Aldrich. I've seen it as a sticking point for a lot of people. Floofer says, there was another thing that had me worried for a minute, but thank goodness it was only about 10 seconds of bad. Gotcha. Yeah, it scares me. Cats mean a lot to me. I gotta protect them all. So I wasn't sure if I was gonna stream or not tonight. Lately, whenever I've had free time like this, and free time really just means whenever I've got some time that I can choose what to schedule it as, because I never use it as free time, I always do some work. Anytime I've had one of these variable time sessions lately on a weekend, I've drawn. I've been working on my drawing, I've been working on my art a lot, and actually I've been doing such a good job improving lately that I might be pretty close to being able to start on actually drawing my next model. I'm finishing the design up for it, and then I'm probably going to practice drawing the same model in the same design in a bunch of different poses, like not the front-on look for the model, just drawing it over and over and over again, so that my natural little tweaks on how the hair flows and adjusting things for the different angles and understanding the way the body and clothes work will all come together well. But after that, I'll probably just start making my next model. So we might have my next model sooner than I thought. Now, me making it, I don't have a ton of time. And trying to draw the final model requires like a lot of polishing. And then I want there to be a lot of expressions and toggles, and I am also going to be trying to give it some pretty good rigging. So when I say it should be sooner than expected, it's still going to be months of work at least for me to actually get that model made. All kinds of art and then all kinds of really complicated rigging. But when I make it, that's going to be lovely. And I will say, I appreciate you all very much who are here to participate in the, what did I call it? VTuber Identity Crisis talk session that we had last week. I took a lot of you guys' comments into consideration. Like, I was very heavily considering dropping the whole squid part of my persona. Some of you who've only known me more recently barely even know about the squid. Like, there's a squiddy sticker right on my chest there, and you may or may not have seen the squiddy cat. And you guys know that I've called you squiddy cats before. That's what we call our followers, especially if you're in the Discord. I always address squiddy cats. But you guys were all kind of like attached to that idea. You guys were like, I don't want to see the squid part gone. And they were like, we feel like the Eldritch thing is still a part of you and all that. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't think that I had been incorporating that for a long time, but a lot of you guys were very attached to it. You were like, this is part of what makes you unique and part of what your brand's been. So I'm like, okay, then maybe I'll lean into that a little bit more than I have. because we are the Squiddy Cats here. No matter what, keep the Squiddy Cat mascot. Like, see, honestly, I really didn't know that you guys were so attached to that until we had that stream. And that's part of the reason I had that stream, is like, my brain was opening up to all this potential that I could be if I was making my own assets. There were many things I could go with, because the amount of things that I pull my inspiration from are very vast. And if it wasn't for me mentioning it on the stream a couple of previous times, you guys would probably be surprised to hear that Miku and Vocaloid has always been a big inspiration on how I do my designing. Like, maybe knowing that, you could vaguely see how this current look could come from being inspired by that sort of thing, particularly Miku. But but it wouldn't immediately come to mind if I hadn't said anything, probably. But there's a lot of things involving, like, digital stuff. I'm a very digital person. I'm a software engineer in real life, and I love the games, and all the things I do is on a computer. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll lean a little bit more into the digital world and use more of my Vocaloid inspiration and stuff. But you guys had a different thought about it, and we're kind of attached to some things I didn't realize. So I really appreciate that talk we had, and that will be influencing my design as I'm going forward with this new look. Rebel, good to see you. Long time no see. Yeah, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. We're gonna be doing some Elden Ring tonight, but I switched us into the just chatting category because I wanted to say hi a little bit at the beginning, talk a little about that model and how life's been, updates. And about a week from today, we're gonna be celebrating 900 followers. Yeah. I'll give you that one for free, Doc. And we're going to be doing a Dark Souls related thing for that, but pretty soon we're going to bring in some content that is not Dark Souls related, because we are approaching the very end of Elden Ring. Last stream of Elden Ring, we beat the hardest boss in the game, and we found another optional boss that apparently is also up there amongst the hardest. And then we don't have too much story left. And I don't think I'm going to be trying to seek out like every other hidden little side boss in some catacomb out there somewhere, or look for the rest of the NPC stories that I missed, because some things are okay to save for future playthroughs, and it feels like at this point of where I am, it would kind of be a step back in terms of momentum to do those things. So I think we're going to be finishing the game pretty soon, and that opens us up to some other variants on Elden Ring, but also to some other games that I've been holding off on while we've sort of made Elden Ring our main thing. And yes, I did find the real Mohg, Doc. It kind of answered some... it made a lot of things that you were saying before make sense. Although I am very confused about the Mohg situation. I don't even know if all the answers are there. Fluffer says, I could consult the High Council of Furries to help me create you Squiddy Cat Sona to make a new model. The High Council is just a few friends. Well, I'm very adamant about designing my new model myself, because I want to make sure that whatever is like the basic look that I first come out with is something that I have 100% rights to. Commercial rights, design rights, usage rights for whatever I want, because I've made it, and then I can make variations off of it. But past that point, after I've got that new model, I'm gonna make a bunch of different variations of that over time in terms of different clothing and maybe different appearances for holidays, and sometimes the alternate universe versions, etc. At which point, I'll definitely be opening it up to other people's designs and commissions and various other things like that. In fact, the current outfit that you see me wear on this model is not what my next one is going to be wearing, because I want to design one myself. But I will make this outfit into a variant that we can turn into with the new model as well, so that we still have it, or at least like some version of this outfit. Palo, how you doing? Good to see you. Doc says, yeah, I almost freaked out when I came super close to spoiling it for you and only realized you beat his projection in the sewer. Is it common? I heard that you can get to Mohgwyn Palace early in the game somehow. is it common that people get to like this Mohg that I'm at now before they ever see the one in the sewer? You call it a projection. That's one of the things I was confused about with Mohg. I'm like, why are there two versions? Why is there Mohg the Omen and then Mohg Lord of Blood? And the context seems very different. And there's like, there's been a lot of those through the game, right? Like I fought ghostly spirit Loretta in the Carrion Manor, and then I fought real Loretta supposedly in the Halig Tree, and then I fought two versions of Estelle, and then I was realizing that like a couple of these duplicates that I was fighting of people seemed to be related to like once I went north into the consecrated snowfields or whatever, then there was a second Estelle, and there was Loretta, and there was a second Mohg that I visited. I mean, at least the teleporter was there. The Mohg certainly wasn't. He's more in Siofra or whatever. I'm like, I don't know if that's related to it. I don't know if anybody really knows the answer yet as to why there's just duplicates of some characters. or if there really is an answer. I'm like, is the whole Halig Tree situation like almost an alternate universe there? I'm like, do we almost have a second Lanedell capital? I forget what it was called around the Halig Tree, but it looked very similar to Lanedell, including the soldiers. And you had like this burnt down or like rotted tree, probably is the way that it was, kind of like the Erd Tree. And essentially you had this goddess underneath it, like supposedly what we have in the Erd Tree with Marika. We had Millennia, and I'm like, is something going on with two different dimensions here? Do we have two different worlds that have collided? The flow of time and space convoluted here? Tells us to start to figure it out, are we? Maybe. It says the people in this game aren't very smart, so they send a ghostly fraction of their strength after you to teach you their moveset, so when you get to them, you kill them easier. Seems like it. Doc says, in the main two ways to get to Mohgwyn Palace is through the consecrated snowfield teleporter and completing Varre's questline. Oh. Wow, you could do that real early, huh? You just need to get to Liurnia, right? Well, actually, I don't know where you get the Maiden Blood. I suppose I'm willing to accept that as a spoiler as long as it's not past where I am. How do you get the Maiden Blood for Varre? Because I don't think I'm going to be doing that in this run through, especially if it just leads to Mohgwyn, which I'm already at now. So I would accept the answer for that, since the only difference if you guys didn't give it now would be that I'd end up finishing this game and then afterward asking. Probably doesn't give anything away. Talcid says, I said this a few streams back, but you assume that someone didn't put that tree there. You assume that somebody didn't put that tree there that's supposed to be there. I mean, that's usually what one assumes about trees. Are you saying that somebody planted the rotted tree there to inflict the twins with with the rot? I mean, possibly. Doc says there's a couple options for Maiden's Blood. I think one of them is killing the blind woman NPC. Oh, I see. Let me click allow on that. Automod didn't like the fact that you said killing the blind woman. So it caught it. I'm not exactly sure what part of, like, people have said things about killing this or that all game. I guess it's specifically that combination of words, just out of context. Automod doesn't like it. Erd trees in general. I mean, I haven't really gotten there. A lot of the Souls games are about gods having kind of put themselves in place and then expecting other people of some lowly form to go through a bunch of efforts to keep them in power. Because, like, in Dark Souls 1, the gods all, like, weren't really gods until they took up the original Ambers and got greedy. They were like, I'm gonna keep all this power for myself and wage war against the actual things that lived here before I had this power. and then rule the place. And then they're like, okay, now we expect all you guys who are cursed with this, like, this curse of the undead to go out of your way to do these big long journeys so that you can keep the Age of Fire in place and the gods in power. And then even if you go the other path, it's like, oh, these primordial beings that used to rule the world want you to go stop it now. They're like, yeah, so, put the gods out of power, the ones who took us out of power, put them out of power, and we'll totally let you guys inherit the earth. It's not like we're gonna start eating you guys and then be in charge again. Gwyn did the cursing, exactly. They just kind of... So, part of me suspects that there's a similar thing going on here, right? Clearly, Marika put some things in place to keep herself in power in the world. Like, the Erd Tree is vulnerable to whatever that fire is that is in the giant's cauldron there in the snowfields. And one of the things Marika did quickly after, like, being the god in power was to kill the god of the giants, that one-eyed giant god thing, and then have wage war on the rest of the giants there using who was it? Godfrey? Was it Godfrey? I think it was Godfrey, not Radagon, that she sent after the giants. I can't remember. I think it was Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. And then had them all get enslaved. Yeah, Godfrey. So that, and then made those lands forbidden. So presumably all that was put in place to not only stop the giants from producing more of that fire that could damage the Erd Tree, but also preventing anyone from going into those lands by making them forbidden. Even the duty that the fingers set you out to do by consulting the greater will does not involve going into the forbidden lands. Talsit says, I can't confirm or deny anything you're saying without spoilers and massive speculation. Yeah, I wouldn't expect anybody to right now until I finish the game. And it does sound like a lot of the answers aren't quite out there, but I know that we're also waiting for DLC. It says sometimes gods just need to pass a vibe check or die. It is what it is. And it seems like most of the time, Miyazaki doesn't like to write gods that are truly gods. They're usually gods that raised to that position by kind of cannibalizing some sort of power for themselves. So it'll be interesting to find out more. Azrael Dude says, off topic, Ricky, I hear from another streamer that Bloodborne was trending on Twitter because there's been rumors about a movie from a known source and people were booing. And the 10 streamers think the Bloodborne anniversary is going to be weird if that happens. No worries, Azrael, dude. There's gonna be a movie, is what the rumors are. I would not expect a Bloodborne movie to be very good. It's not, like, From Software games don't lend themselves to being in a movie form too well. They could pull it off if they get the vibe just right. But also, like, I tend to feel like a movie or a show doesn't affect my feelings on the game, you know? Like, they made a Witcher show. I'm not that interested in watching it. Some people said it was good. Some people said it was really bad. I liked The Witcher 3, and I don't feel like that show's going to add anything to my enjoyment of The Witcher 3 or get rid of it. And I think even while Star Wars was going downhill, some of the Star Wars games were decent. I feel like they're very split. I can see why you might be a little frustrated sometimes if you were a big lover of a game and you really don't think it would work well in a movie, and then they're making it because you feel like the reputation of that game could get tarnished, if you will. Which is true. Sometimes it can be. Sometimes everything people will think about is just that. Like, for a little while now, you're gonna say Five Nights at Freddy's and people will think of the movie because that's what came out now. Even though people know it's a game, like, if you say Five Nights at Freddy's right now, a lot of people think about the movie, which I haven't seen yet. I'm probably gonna watch it at some point. Yes, tarnished. Foul, tarnished movie. Name one good video game movie. I probably could, if I thought about it enough, but it's rare, for sure. The Mario movie's pretty good, but I don't feel like I have a right to say that. Or, like, that's not what I mean. The Mario movie's good, but I don't feel like I have a right to compare it to the video game, because I never really played Mario. I haven't, like, I enjoyed the movie. I would watch it again. But I haven't played the Mario games, so I can't approach it from the same perspective as somebody who grew up with Mario, you know? I've like played the tiniest bit here and there, but I've never finished a Mario game because I only had Sega Genesis when I was a kid. And when I got GameCube, I didn't really finish any Mario game. Game Boy, didn't finish any Mario game. I played a little bit of Luigi's Mansion, but didn't finish it, so I don't really have the perspective of the people who are like really passionate about Mario and then see that movie. Though I gotta imagine, like, they did such a good job for fan service in that movie. I still think, I know people didn't like the voice cast of Chris Pratt as Mario. I think he did way better in the movie than it appeared that he was doing in the in the trailers. And they did exactly what I thought. They gave him the Brooklyn backstory, so he starts with more of a Brooklyn accent, but they do let him like evolve a little bit into the Mario accent, especially certain things he says. But at the same time, they also had Charles Martinet, the normal voice of Mario from the games. They gave him a role in the movie. They didn't give him the primary role. Part of that was probably because they wanted like star power of saying Chris Pratt. Part of it was also because there was a big discussion out there of whether or not Charles Martinet's Mario voice would have really worked in a role where it's like extremely heavily dialogue, because obviously Mario had talk the entire movie through. If you think about listening to an entire movie full of Mario sounding like he does when he's like, "It's me, Mario," I'm not sure. I don't know. It's hard for me to picture the whole movie that way. It might get a little rough to listen to. I love Charles Martinet's voice for Mario, but it might have been a good idea to choose somebody else. And I'm glad that they still gave him a role in there. Also, Martinet was already in discussions about not being the voice of Mario anymore because he kind of moved on. And now he's not. Now he's officially not. He's currently taken up the role of Global Mario Ambassador for Nintendo. You loved Luigi's Mansion? I hear that's a favorite out there, yeah. Luigi's Mansion's Chef Kiss. I enjoyed what I played of it. It says, I think a Souls movie would turn out as badly as the Monster Hunter movie. Yeah, well, especially if they did not honor the source material, the source material, like they did with Monster Hunter. I feel like they tried to take the Monster Hunter source material and then be like, now how do we appeal to the generic action movie crowd with this? And so they leatherified it and made it made it more monochromatic. I don't know, they washed a lot of the color out of it. Azrael says everyone agreed that the French version of Mario was more closer to his Italian accent, and I feel like that actually worked pretty well with the French language too. But I still have a hard time imagining it sounding like that in English the whole time. It says, because it's an RPG, so we have to take that element away from it. True. Matreus says, I doubt that even if Martinet was Mario in the movie, they would just be doing the catchphrases. I doubt. Is that supposed to be a period? Like, I doubt that. Even if Martinet was in the movie, they would just be doing the catchphrases? Or did I read it right the first time? Probably. I mean, if they just did the catchphrases, Martinet would be great. If they had to have an entire script like they did with the movie, it might be a little bizarre. Which Azrael says, which is bizarre. With Mila Jovovich, where almost every movie she's in, she's naked because her husband is weird. I did not know about that. Fluffer says, oh yeah, some people were angry that the new Mario had pronouns in his Twitter bio. Yeah, people like to get angry about that. People forget that pronouns are older than the English language. Like, the amount of people I see on Twitter being like, I don't use pronouns. I'm like, please. It does, like, I'm one of those people who typically, like, I want people to be able to have reasonable debates. I want there to be two sides of arguments, typically. It gets hard to have that when people are trying to argue about people's rights to exist. But it's like, you gotta at least try and organize what you're saying in an educated way, right? If you're like, I don't even use pronouns, I go by the sex that I was born with, it's like, then you're using pronouns, man. You can't even use the English language without that. Azrael says Mila has to be Lady Maria. Are you, Yeah, I won't go any further with that, Azrael, dude. I'm pretty sure I know what you're insinuating. You would like to see in the Bloodborne movie after Matreus' statement. Oh, anyway. If they make a Bloodborne movie, I'll probably try it, just because I like Bloodborne so much, but I'll have really low expectations for it, I think. I have found that these days my standards for allowing myself to be entertained by a movie are lower. And I phrase it that way because I don't think my standards in general have gotten lower. I think I've just decided to allow more entertainment from things that are less relevant. I don't know how to say it right. I guess I've decided that it's not worth my energy to get upset by things that don't really ultimately matter as much. And so it's opened up my ability to get entertained by smaller things without having to like super scrutinize them for continuity as much and other things like that. Unless it's been like a long-term thing that I've been enjoying for that pure sake. Like Marvel, I'm still pretty heavy on the continuity of it because they've got over 10 years of movies. Actually, over 15 at this point, isn't it? Or pretty close. That continuity was such an important part of it, so if they drop something there, it's kind of more disappointing. Clifford says, oh, has anyone seen that Silent Hill Ascension? It's a dumpster fire. I have not. Azra says, I don't really want a Bloodborne movie. I want Bluepoint to touch that game like a symbiote and make it better than Demon Souls. Bluepoint is like, I really was afraid of them remaking Demon Souls, and then they made Demon Souls and it was lovely. So I would be perfectly happy for them to remake Bloodborne, especially if that means we finally get a PC version. Because, like, I have a PlayStation 4, but it's old and dusty and hasn't been turned on for years. And, does that sound familiar? Anybody? And, I don't even know if it would still work, to be honest. And I don't have a capture card set up for my PC for it. It'd just be a hassle to bring it up on my PlayStation. I'd just like to be able to play it on my PC, if I can. I'm not a PC supremacist. I was a console gamer before. It's just I finally have a nice PC now, so I like to be able to play my games on here. But I encourage anyone who hasn't looked at it to check it out to form their own opinion, but don't judge Silent Hill 1x3. So, what is Ascension? Is that the one you were talking about where they were kind of like remaking 1? Azrael Dude says, right now, if you want Bloodborne 60 FPS, you need a modded PS5, and that's expensive. Yeah. And it will probably make your PlayStation 5 take off. I don't know, if PlayStation 5 is anything like PlayStation 4, it doesn't take much for the fans in it to start spinning so fast you're worried about sitting too close to it in case it blows up. Oh, anyway. Let me get a little stretch in here. I've been working on trying to take care of myself and my circulation a little bit more lately because I'm still young, but I'm not spring chicken young. And I'm gonna regret it if in a few years I leave these muscles as unused as they have been lately. Because I'm so sedentary. Atreus, I don't know if you're still here. I'm so sedentary. I'm not doing enough exercises. I'm not doing enough movement. I've found that parts of me actually get a little bit numb, which is always a bad sign. Luckily, it's not my left arm right now. But like, for example, recently I found that the top of my head, and I'm a chronic headphones wearer, okay? I have headphones on basically all day. And I'm sitting at my computer, I'd say pretty close to 16 hours a day, and headphones are on most of the time. The top of my head has been numb a lot lately. Like, I can run my fingernails, like, up the sides of my head and things like that, and I'll get all the sensations you should expect. Like the little prickliness, or if it's done right, it feels almost like a little bit like a massage. But when I get to the top of my head, it's like, obviously I can feel things there. It hasn't gotten to the point where I can't feel anything. But I certainly don't have the same kinds of sensations up there anymore. And I think my hair is also beginning to thin out from it. And I'm like, I don't think that I'm getting proper circulation through the top of my head. I think like staying still and using headphones all the time, always having that sit up there and then like never massaging my head or anything, like blood flow has just been really low. Stop wearing headphones for a while. I don't think I can though, because I need, like, while I stream, I can't just have my sounds blaring, because usually my family's sleeping while I stream, and I don't have a good setup for earbuds, because my Go XLR needs to be plugged into USB ports that keeps it far enough away from me that my earbuds don't reach it. And that's where all my sound goes through. And I also need headphones for the specific headset that they sent me to do my work with while I'm at work as well, so I don't really have the option to not wear them. And one thing I did recently do, oh, and Tallohawk says, yeah, that's why I've been using high quality IEMs more than my headphones nowadays. IEMs, what are those? Are those like the chargeable wireless earbuds? I've wanted to start using those a little bit just to take things off of my head. But the problem is, like, even these days, all of those, like, wireless earbuds are like, oh, it holds charge for 8 to 10 hours. But most of them are shorter than that. Those are, like, the high-end ones. Most of them are, like, 6 hours of charge, and then you can recharge them, and I'm like, that does not last for the day that I need. But one thing that I did start doing recently, at least once a day, I will tighten the strap on my headphones and pull them back off of the top of my head so that the top is actually resting on the back of my neck instead of on the top of my head. And I got this like silicone sort of nibbed head massager thing that I just like run around the top of my head for 4 or 5 minutes, at least like once a day, until I'm getting some like blood circulation in there. And I've just been doing that regularly to see if I can stimulate the follicles and the skin and muscles up there a little bit. There's not too much muscle on the top of your head, but all the same. Just to try and get blood flow back in there a little bit more often. But I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if it's enough. It's a hard thing to do. But yeah, it's not so good to have any part of your body be low circulation for a long time. And let me see what you guys are saying. Azrael says, if I remember correctly, Silent Hill Ascension is an interactive series where you decide in a specific scenes what the character's gonna do by paying in a vote system. The most cash grab ever. Like paying real money? Or are you saying like when you play something like the Quarry multiplayer mode where people vote on the option of what is going to happen next? Talos says, if it uses a 3.5mm plug, you could always use an extension. Does my headphones use that? They might. I think, yeah, they might, or they might be smaller. Or by headphones, I mean earbuds. I don't use them very often. I only really use them with my phone. And my phone needs an extension because I'm using a Google Pixel. And for some reason they were like, we're gonna make the Google Pixel without a headphone jack. Instead, we're gonna make a headphone jack to USB converter that you need, or adapter I should say, that you need to plug in so that you can use your headphones with the Pixel, and then you can't use the headphones at the same time as you charge it. It's kind of a silly design, but the Pixel has a really good camera, which is why I wanted it. Because that was before I went on my Korea trip, and I wanted to take good pictures. Clifford says, I don't know how to describe it exactly. It's like daily short CGI episodes where the community decides the outcome, but it costs money to vote. It actually really costs money, huh? Alright, I'm gonna think about this while I hydrate here. Yum. Talos says in-ear monitors. Oh, basically earphones, but focused on wired audio quality than convenience. In-ear monitors. I'm gonna have to look those up. I mean, they gotta keep a pretty good charge. They gotta keep a pretty good charge for me to use them if they're wired. Wireless, excuse me. Oh, they're wired. Okay. So they're like wired earbuds, but trying to decide how they'd be different from earbuds. I'll just have to look them up to find out, I guess. I prefer wired. It's harder and harder to find wired headphones these days. But I don't know if you guys saw, like some of these wireless headphones, they can be dangerous sometimes. I forget if it was... What was the brand that was having the issue? It was one of the big brands. There was this wireless headphones that they were releasing that like had this chance. Now it didn't happen to everyone, but it happened to far too many people, that they'd get some kind of interference and kind of lose connection with the audio source that they were currently connected to. So, you know, it would be choppy, it would cut out, which would be okay. It wouldn't be great, you don't want that in there. But these things, when they were losing connection to the audio source that they were on, instead of going quiet, they would basically go to the highest max volume they possibly could, like this massive staticky screaming white noise like reception issue thing would just blare up in both of the both of the headphone sockets, the ear cups, and people would be like tearing those off their head and throwing them, and people got temporary ear damage and stuff from them because it was so loud. And they're like, oh yeah, that's a little bit of a risk with some of these like wireless headphones. Like, come on, man, that's a pretty big risk. I don't want that. My ears are already kind of sensitive. There are no muscles on the scalp, it's just a long tendon. Fair. IEMs are wired. They're wired differently than earphones. They use different drivers and take the audio processing to an exterior device. Earphones are basically simplified and mass-produced ear monitors. Interesting. I'll have to check it out. If it gets the thing off the top of my head more often, it's probably going to ultimately be better for me and for my my scalp and hair in the long run. It's not a risk, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. I'm surprised they haven't had one yet, but it seems to be something that they're aware of. So I don't know, maybe they've found the nice like legalese to not be able to lose a lawsuit over that. There's a lot of that these days. It's like, rather than fix a problem, let's find the right wording to avoid being culpable for the problem. That's happening a lot with like the AI stuff, especially because there's not a lot of laws out there about it. So they're like, oh, we can easily use this or that wording to keep ourselves completely free from any problem. If you want something entry level, the Moondrop Chew 2s. The Chew 1s are okay, but the improvements in the Chew 2s are phenomenal. Okay, let me copy that real quick and send that to myself in Discord. I will look that up later. And we have been talking for around an hour now, so I think I'm going to update the category here to Elden Ring. And we're going to go in and see if we can beat Mohg. Goodbye, music. I do enjoy talking to you guys, though. There's been a while, it's been a while since I've really done like a focused just chatting stream. And I want to have another one of those soon. we've really been kind of leaning into Elden Ring for a long time now because I want to open it back up. I'm enjoying Elden Ring first off, but also now I'm so close that I can taste the ending. And I want to open back up our possibilities a little bit more, especially in these last 2 months here where I'm going to be trying to push for 1,000 followers. We are now at 903. So we need 97 more, and we will hit a goal that I've been aiming for 3 years. And earlier this year, we only had 600 and something. So we had really good momentum this year. But we're going to need especially good momentum if we actually want to hit 1,000 by the end of the year. So I might be doing some bonus streams. I might be doing some different type of content streams. If you guys have any suggestions, I'm very open to it. Because that'll be an amazing milestone. I'd be psyched about that. It always feels good to hit a digit, like an extra digit. Going from 999 to 1K is just going to be cool. Because I've been working on this for such a long time, and it's something I really feel passionate about now. That's why I'm working on another model for you guys, too. I think I've... as much as some of you here knew me first as a camera streamer, and liked me that way, and probably some of you would prefer that I was a cam streamer still, and not a VTuber. I really appreciate you for sticking around while I have been a VTuber, because I'm really, like, feeling it. It lets me sit down... look like a cool anime character, not have to worry what I'm looking like after I'm tired from a rough work day, and there's a lot of interesting potential with VTubing. I don't know, I've just found my stride, I feel like, since I became a VTuber and got my schedule together. It's not to say that I'll never be cam streamer again. In fact, like, I'm thinking maybe once in a while, maybe we'll like start doing like a once a month cam stream or something. Because I know some people don't like that. They're like, oh, I don't want to get immersion broken from my VTuber. But I've already got clips of my face, and I don't think I'm going to go through and delete all my face clips. And I know a couple of other VTubers out there who do have a time every once in a while that they go on and they do an immersion break flesh tuber stream. So maybe we'll start doing that. I don't know. It's something to think about. I'm still in experimental phases, but I appreciate you guys all being part of this ride. It's meant a lot to me. And even with all this growth, I am not gonna forget any of you guys. If we suddenly get really big, I'm a communities first kind of person. I was talking to somebody the other day, actually, about like when it is and isn't okay to... like, in my opinion, they were asking me my opinion when it is and isn't okay to, like, monetize things and what to expect from your audience and things. And, like, I've been so... like, if I want to do this as part of my job, I guess I gotta monetize things sometimes now, but, like, I don't know. I've been so slow on that because I'm really not in it for that reason, and I don't want to make anybody ever feel pressured to even show up, never mind spend money on the thing. Like here, right at this moment, as I've been getting bigger, I've gotten more and more of these things. I'm looking at a little notification on the side here by Stream Elements. I use Stream Elements to help me stream. And it's like, you have 10 new sponsorship opportunities right now. Check them out. Let me see. I haven't even clicked that because I'm like, I feel like I'm too small to be taking sponsorships. Yeah, I see earn up to 3,100 on this one, earn up to 1,000, earn up to 1,580, earn up to 2,000 on this one, 790 here, 360 there, 1,200 there. Like, I could be taking up all these sponsorship opportunities and trying to push them on stream and be like, everybody join this game you're probably never going to play again. And get to level 10 in it, and you'll help me reach this goal, and I'll make a couple $1,000, which sounds awesome because I do not make a couple $1,000 when streaming on here ever these days. And yep, Raid Shadow Legends is among them, floofers. Not even one of the higher paying ones, but it's among them. But I don't know, I'm just like, I don't want to do that now. I feel like there's some threshold, right? And I'm going to start booting up Elden Ring here while I talk. I think when you're really small and you do things for money, especially like goal things for money, then there's some dedicated like regulars who really want to help you succeed, and they'll put their money in on it whether they're interested in the thing or not because they want to help you succeed. Which is fine, and that's an awesome support thing, and I have been part of that on other streams. But then if you do it numerous times, it starts to feel like there's some expectation or pressure on those regulars who want to help you out to keep putting their financials toward it, even for things they're not that interested in. And it becomes a little bit weird. Like they want to support you, but they can't do that all the time. And then things start to be a little less successful than the previous times you did them when they were supporting, etc. And I don't like putting that kind of pressure on the community. But there's this threshold that you pass at some level of followers where there are so many people that a good number of them either have a lot of money or are legitimately interested in the thing that you're sponsoring, so that there's no pressure on any individual. Because if an individual isn't in the position to really contribute toward it, it's probably going to get met anyway. And I feel like it will be at that point. I think like sponsorships can be really fun, especially if you do it in sort of a gimmicky way that you like have something fun to contribute to it. Like not really cookie cutter, not just like, okay, today is sponsored by X game. Please click below to join X game and get to X level. And help me reach this goal. If you bring something extra to it, you can make those really fun. You can dress up, you can make jokes, you can make a weird theme out of it. You can give extra like in-channel rewards sometimes depending on what the sponsorship is and if they care. There's cool ways to do it. I think it can just be a fun stream thing to do once in a while. But I think that it's most comfortable to do it on a bigger channel. That way nobody feels pressured. They can either sit there having fun watching it unfold, or they can participate if they want to. Counter raid with a crazy counter and they'll probably take half. It's true, raid seems to have a lot of money to offer up for things. And I'm sure I'll do a sponsored stream eventually, but it's like at this point I would have to be reached out to something that I like really support a lot to be like, yeah, I'll take it, just because I feel good about being like represented with your brand. But I've had Stream Elements reach out to me a lot, and I've had a lot of people reach out via DMs on Twitter and be like, hey, we'd like to make you an affiliate with our brand so that you can, you know, put a banner for our brand thing on your channel and advertise it like 2 times every stream or something like that. Only Froggy's content, that's the sponsorship. I don't know about that. How's this over here? Oh, this is Fair Missoula. And this is the Halig tree. How do I get to Mohg? Is that over here? No, that's the Lake of Rot. Oh, okay, over here. Dynasty Mausoleum entrance. Midpoint. That's where my souls are. Oh, right, there wasn't a grace right there. There was a stake. I see. Every dollar goes toward Froggy getting a meal. This is the right place, right? Oh yeah, it is. I gotta bring up the elevator. These streams have been weird lately because we keep coming in right at a boss that is difficult. And I kind of don't have any time to warm up and fight anything easier. It's just like, oh, let's get straight into the boss. Actually, while we're still near the Grace, I'm thinking maybe right now I have the Godskin Peeler as a quality build. Or affinity, or whatever you call it in this. Because that seems to work better against the multiple forms of Millennia, but I'm almost like, maybe we should go back to Blood. Since it seems like bleeding this boss is pretty easy, and that I benefit a lot by hurting him faster before he does his nihil stuff, or like, well, during the nihil and things like that, I'm wondering if I'll benefit more by having this be blood. We'll try it out a little bit. Favorite Souls boss is Mohg. Back to blood, Duff. I am back for blood. You really want to say that, Matreus? You really want to bring up that sad situation? Oh, you're asking. So when you say favorite Souls boss, you mean any of the games? That's a rough question. That's a bit of a... Any game, okay. That's gonna be tough. It very well may be Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower in Bloodborne, because Bloodborne may be my favorite Souls game, and I think that she's my favorite boss from that game. That was a fantastic boss and experience, and I feel like any other boss that has been similar to that has kind of like taken inspiration from that experience, but was never going to be the first one. You know, like this game has millennia. It has the same sort of dramatic feeling, right? You approach somebody who is an unconscious body in a chair, and they become a really difficult boss with a sword who's aggressive, who walks at you at first and goes through phase transitions like that. It's very Maria. The same thing happened in Dark Souls 3 DLC, where you fought Sister Frida, who was a pretty cool boss fight. Also multiple transitions, same way. Felt like very Maria again, because the same type of character, the same type of combat kind of thing. And maybe I'm generifying too much. But that boss was the first one that really gave me that feeling. It was a little bit anime. The music was just phenomenal. The music transition from her phase 1 to her phase 2, or like 1.5 and then to 2 or whatever. So good. So good. Betrayus says it was a sad situation. If they continued content, there would have been so many people playing it last month. Yeah, really. I like a lot of people, they did not give that game enough time. A lot of people don't play games immediately. There's always a big crowd that starts the game right away. But then there tends to be a long lull, and then there's the crowd that comes in and starts the game a year later. I'm one of those. And there's a lot of those. If you see it out there, a lot of games go through the initial hype buys, then a big lull, and then a resurgence when all the people who put it on their to-do list like start to do it. Like they get reminded of it a year later and it comes back big. They didn't give it nearly long enough. They didn't give themselves time to get into that resurgence, and I think that's a shame. Talos says, I forgot to mention the Moondrop 2 chews might not come with ear tips. LEM manufacturers, or IEM, excuse me, manufacturers usually expect users to have their own tips that fit the individual, so you might need to get ear tips for them too if you get an IEM. Good to know. I can potentially use some of the ear tips I have for other ones. I don't know how you guys feel. I like some specific ear tips that only Bose really seems to create right. There's these rubber ear tips that they go in your ear, but then they also kind of like have a hook that rotates up and around some of the inside of your ear, and they don't fall out very well. Hey, Jose! And a couple brands make something similar, but they're a little harder and don't fit and stay as well. Like Bose are the only ones that really make them in a way that they're comfortable for me. Other ones have gotten like are a little too tough, and they feel like they kind of agitate the ear after a while. How you doing, Jose? It's good to see you. We're going to be fighting Mohg again. Also says the Bloodborne DSC is possibly the best piece of content I've ever played. Certainly from Souls, yeah. Man, those bosses. Ludwig, Maria, Orphan of Kos. I want to fight them again right now. Like, screw this guy. This guy, I'm not excited about at all. I thought I fought Mohg and was done with him in the sewer. He's just not that cool. He's like a little bit cool. He can be cool. And like, the wing thing is different in this one. At least he's not the exact same boss. But it's just not that exciting, especially not after we already did Maria. I mean, not Maria, excuse me. Unos. Oh, come on, you're gonna do that extra little swing afterward? Nihil! Oh god, I got staggered out of midair by the...
Is mine.
Hey, Psycho Sloth! Welcome, invaders! Hello, hello! Neurotoxin, also hello. Okay, we just died, which isn't like the best thing to see the moment that there's a raid, but... Wait, what's that music I just heard?
I might fail all the songs because I haven't played this. I literally have not touched this.
Camel by Camel. Okay, fair. It's just Camel. Okay, it's just Camel by Camel in there. All right, we're fair. We're good.
Nobody said that. I didn't say that. Nobody heard that. I don't. Okay.
Oh no, don't apologize. It was me dying that was the problem. Welcome, Psycho. You were playing Just Chatting. I hope you had a lovely stream. I love your avatar. Look at that. We got perfectly innocent Camel by Camel playing. Certainly nothing like the nothing like excuse me, stop alerts. Certainly nothing like this that we had somewhere in the past here on the stream. Certainly not like the Catboy experience that we had one time on this stream before. Certainly not like that, alright? Perfectly innocent. You like my model? I like yours too. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, raiders. My name is Ricky, by the way. Don't listen to the Demote Me Daddy in the background, or anybody who tries to tell you that I'm Wiki with a W. It's R, Ricky. The channel's Eccentropy. Welcome, welcome. Appreciate the raid. They're gonna try and tell you I'm a Catboy, despite what I just showed you a second ago. And the fact that there's some Nya-related redemptions in here and stuff. It's not true. I got human ears. Ouch. Boss, that's a pot shot. Or what is it, sucker punch? Don't be doing that. I'm trying to talk to the raiders. Oh god. We're playing a little bit of Elden Ring. I'm kind of late in the game now. We're just sort of wrapping up some difficult bosses. I don't know if you've played this before, or if you're here based off the model, but I appreciate it all the same. And also thank you for contributing toward... Oh, I gotta run away. The follower count here, we're aiming to try and hit 1,000 followers by the end of the year. Man, you guys are trying to pull out everything to distract me during the fight, huh? Floofers, really? With the annoying squiddy cat? It's so chaotic here right now. But welcome, everybody. Ow. Hi, Mutt Melon. Good to see ya. Don't duo me. Bonus. Stop it. Stop it. Ow. So we're on a pretty difficult boss, and I'm dead again. I beat the hardest boss in this game last stream. So this guy shouldn't be as bad. Boy, you guys just went nuts on the sounds, huh? You're really trying to distract during that. We got Gimme That Meat, we had the annoying squiddy cat. We had a Nya in there, right? Anyway. Chaos aside, thank you once again, Psycho Sloth, for the raid. Everybody make sure to check them out. If you gotta do your after stream care, rest, relax, get some water, feel free to. Otherwise, you're welcome to stay, hang out, have a good time. Same with any of the raiders who came in. Oh, hydrate? Okay, I will. Boss is walking toward me, but I'll drink. There's also a minute of nyas, huh? ASMR as well? I'm gonna trust you to be honest on this, chat. You go to sleep? Alright, thank you again so much for the raid. Please sleep well. Nya. I gotta say nya now for 1 minute apparently. Nya. Alright, I gotta run from this guy. I am playing with fire here. Blood fire. Alright, I'm getting a little bit better with his dodges. Oh, I don't want him to be pulling that yet, though. And sometimes he just misses me, which is nice. This guy delays his attacks big time. Oh, I just forget that has a third on it as well. Do it. Do duo. Do it. Not while I'm on the ground. Alright, never mind. Dead. Mott Melon, if you beat him fast enough, Mohg will disappear without a trace. Is that even possible? I guess it probably is. Maybe if you got like Frost and Bleed to beat him before he gets the Nihil off. Hey Froggy! What's a Mohg? This is a Mohg. A Mogus. Trace! 14! Ow. He bonks. Mohg likes to bonk. What was that quick transition to your claw, huh? Who told you you could do that? Why we got a shout out for Froggy in here? Was that you, Mutt Melon? That's distracting. I haven't seen a Froggy shout out for a long time, so I want to watch it. I thought the roll was okay on there. Roll timing is so hard for that one, the explosion. Come out of the fire, please, sir. I can't fight you in there. Starting to run out of area that isn't fire now. Alright, here we go. My turn, right? Nope. Not quite. Stop. Come over here. Oh, I didn't know that launched it forward. Man, you got a lot of BS attacks, sir. Can you move past your fire? Of course. You give me a little opening to strike and you gotta fly up. I see how it is. You're stalling, so I burn through the remainder of my Estus. Oh, the follow-up. And I'm in fire. Oh, I'm gonna bleed. It's about to be over. Ugh. There we go. Dead. He was being very aggressive that time. Come over here. Scorpion in a good mood, yeah. Oh no, Ricky turned Froggy into a Final Fantasy VII nerd. There are other Final Fantasies. The only one Froggy has played some of so far. Oh, Vaughn! Hello, hello! Good to see you. Are you not streaming anymore, Vaughn? Or are you not on somebody else's stream? Are you two-timing right now? Did that get wrapped up? That was very funny. Vaughn was on Pio's stream today. I was enjoying my time over there. And we did get very close there, yes. Oh. Trace. Oh god, what is that combo? You can just go infinitely, huh? You don't need to stop swinging. Go from your 3-hit combo to your 4-hit combo. No breaks. Other guy doesn't need a turn to fight. What is this, an RPG game? I mean, kinda. Not giving me a lot of attempts to attack you here before the countdown, sir. Ah, so close.